Well, joining us on Left, Right and Centre tonight is Member of Parliament Dr. Shashi Tharoor from the Congress Party. Dr. Tharoor, great to have you with us tonight to discuss actually a wide range of political issues. And let me begin by one in your home state, currently something that is making headlines, which is the political killings that have now reached the capital. In your point of view, do you think enough has been done politically to address this problem of these killings and counter killings that have actually been taking place for years now, but seem to have become more alarming?
Well, they haven't been taking place for years in Thiruvananthapuram, but only in northern Kerala, in the area around Kannur. And indeed, just in February of this year, there had been major all-party peace talks in Kannur, at the end of which everybody had vowed to abide by the exhortations for peace and calm. Clearly that hasn't lasted, and here in Thiruvananthapuram it's actually a first. We've never seen violence. It's a rather calm and stately traditional capital. This kind of thing with political workers attacking each other with knives and now recently bombs is new to us, and everyone in Thiruvananthapuram is appalled, shaken and angry. Has enough been done? Well, today, that is Monday, the Chief Minister held a meeting with the President of the BJP and RSS leaders. And I understand that in that meeting, some conclusions were reached to restrain party zealots on both sides. But we'll have to see how it works out in practice, because there is a lot of fear that with one person having been killed, retaliation may not be far away from the other side.
Why do you think it's come to a point, though, where it has reached the state capital? And as you pointed out, this is sort of the first time that we're seeing it come to Thiruvananthapuram.
Well, why has it got to that point is I think that there is now a rather intense level of desperation on the part of both the BJP, which is rising in Kerala or trying to rise in Kerala on the back of communal polarization, and the CPM, which traditionally has had a strong ideological hostility to the RSS, which is the parent of the BJP. And I think when the BJP was essentially a fringe element, it was CPM-RSS violence in Kannur. But as the BJP has become a somewhat more credible political force with 11% of the vote in the last assembly elections, and victory in one assembly seat in my constituency of Thiruvananthapuram, clearly the edge, as it were, has become sharper and keener between the two sides. The Congress Party obviously is keeping its distance from this kind of politics. We have tended to condemn the politics of violence, whoever perpetrates it. But it's becoming something which can't leave us unaffected, because what we're seeing around us is a totally different idiom from the sort of ideological fervor of Kerala politics that we're all used to. We are now seeing a willingness to resort to weapons, and that is absolutely horrifying to many of us.
Let me also ask you, about the state of the political opposition in the country today, especially in light of Nitish Kumar's about face. And today Nitish Kumar held a press conference and very interestingly has said he believes nobody has the capability to take on Narendra Modi in 2019. Do you agree with him?
Well, I've always found that premature political judgments have a way of rebounding when the actual votes are cast. I mean, I still remember people saying that the BJP would sweep Bihar when the assembly elections were held, that they would sweep Delhi. And we know what happened in those two states. So I'm prepared to wait and see. The truth is that there is an extended honeymoon going on between the government of Mr. Modi and the electorate. But that honeymoon is still based on rhetoric, on expectations. It's not based yet on performance and results. And the question is, how long are the voters going to wait for those results? Will people, young people who were promised jobs by Mr. Modi when they voted for him in 2014, still vote for him in 2019 if they don't have jobs? Will people who were promised growth and economic expansion and ease of doing business and all of these things continue to have stars in their eyes, as it were, about Mr. Modi when none of those things happen? Will businesses feel continued joy at the prospect of a Modi government if their life has actually become more difficult? Will people who are spending 120 and 130 rupees a kilo buying tomatoes be particularly pleased about the BJP's
But would you concede, Dr. Tharoor, that the opposition's
we really have to look at the bottom line.
Sure, but would you concede that the opposition's biggest weakness today is the lack of a credible face to take on Narendra Modi? Because whether we like it or not, personalities are very much part of Indian elections now. The fact that Nitish Kumar has left and joined the the NDA now, how much of a blow is that actually? I'm sure you would concede it is a huge setback.
Well, I don't think that in a parliamentary system it ought to be about one face versus another face. My view very clearly is that Mr. Modi does offer a one-man rule. He is this sort of conqueror on a white stallion with an upraised sword who seems to know all the answers and will cut through all your problems like a Gordian knot with his sword. Whereas the opposition is going to be offering not necessarily just one face, but many faces, many experienced, credible, capable, hardworking faces, and is going to be saying, maybe we don't know all the answers, maybe we don't have 56-inch chests, but we'll work with you, we'll understand your problems and we'll solve them together. And what's more, we have the experience of how to do it. And frankly, after 5 years of non-performance by this government, I think a lot of people are going to look back on the accomplishments of previous governments and say, you know, they weren't that bad after all.
Well, you didn't answer the part about Nitish leaving.
Well, you know, I obviously deplore the fact that this happened. I think that somebody who campaigned on such a strongly anti-BJP platform and said some very sharp things about a Sangh Mukt Bharat and so on, it's a bit surprising when he apparently forgets his own words, forgets the intent of the voters who brought him to power, and instead of seeking a fresh mandate for a different political line, merely switches horses, as it were. That, I think, is not particularly pleasant, and it's not easy to say anything particularly positive about it. I believe that many voters are not going to forgive him for this at the next opportunity. He will probably enjoy the rest of his term, but I think he has actually destroyed what seemed to be potentially a very promising political future by this kind of short-term expediency.
Well, he seems to think that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress perhaps could have intervened in the whole issue with Tejasvi. There is a point of view that the Congress as a pan-national party should have played a more proactive role in pacifying Nitish Kumar and his concerns. How would you see that?
Well, to be honest, I don't know what was done and whether enough was done and so on. So I can't give you an answer. I do know the party has not been sitting on its hands, that there have been active dialogue and consultation. As you know, even 2 days before he resigned, Nitish Kumar ji had called on Rahul Gandhi. So it's not as if there are no talks going on, there's no understanding. Ultimately, you can't put yourself in the mind of Mr. Nitish Kumar, what prompted him to take the step he took, which seems in many ways to be a violation of everything that he says he stood for in the preceding couple of years or preceding 4 years. But what's happened has happened. I think that it's very easy to blame those who have been abandoned. You know, it's really like, the faithless husband leaves the woman and then people blame the woman. I think that's not particularly fair. I think at the end of the day, in these relationships, both people have to want it. We certainly did not seek a divorce.
All right. Well, Shashi Tharoor, thanks very much for joining us tonight on the state of Indian politics today, what's happening in Kerala, as well as the state of the opposition, which continues to face a big challenge vis-a-vis Narendra Modi. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Nidhi. Good talking to you.